What's going on, guys? Today we're headed out for our annual family vacation, and our chariot for the week is the 2018 Toyota Sequoia TRD Sport. About to head out, got to get this thing packed up, so let's cue a packing time lapse. Of course, no Texas road trip would be complete without a stop at Buc-ee's, right, Benjamin?
Yes.
Yeah. Man, what a beautiful place this is. We're in a little town called Spicewood, Texas, out on Lake Travis, and this is just like an Airbnb condo that we rented in this little place called, hold on, we're in this little place called The Island, which is just a little set of condos that's like built on an island in the middle of Lake Travis. So again, it's just a beautiful area that we're out here vacationing with the family. Vacation goals this year was to, one, spend a lot of time and have fun with the family, and two, see some parts of Texas that we haven't seen before. This is definitely a beautiful part of Texas that most of the family hasn't seen before, so we're happy to be here. And we also went into downtown Austin. It's about an hour from where we're staying, and we went and saw the Capitol building and some downtown. Lots of great fun, but today is our last day here, so we got to get all packed up and leave, but I'm going to go out and get some breakfast for the family, and we'll talk a little bit about the car. Again, we're out in Texas Hill Country, so seeing some deer roaming around free is not an abnormal sight, but I've always said Texas Hill Country is one of my favorite parts of Texas. It's just a beautiful area. I love living in Dallas, but vacationing or coming out to the Hill Country is just great. It's not great for vehicles that don't have great gas mileage because you got to go up and down some hills a lot. But let's talk about this thing. This is the 2018 Toyota Sequoia, but it's the TRD Sport package, which is pretty new for Toyota. We saw it at the State Fair last year, and ever since seeing it, I've been wanting to drive it. Finally getting into it and putting it through its paces for a family road trip is definitely worth it. There's lots of great stuff to talk about. It's a good looking design. It's a big vehicle, which deer. It's a big vehicle, which obviously is great for large families and traveling. So it definitely has that presence of a big vehicle as well. But let's jump back into it so we can hit the road.
All right, like I mentioned, our test vehicle is the TRD Sport
but you can get a Sequoia in an SR5 with a starting price of $48,600. The TRD Sport starts at $51,315. You can get a Limited, which starts at $57,095, or the Platinum, which starts at $64,310. So what are you getting with the new TRD Sport? You're getting a Sequoia that has been touched by Toyota's Racing Development Team. That's what TRD stands for. So you get things like LED headlights, a gloss black grille with chrome surround, 20-inch black alloy wheels with TRD Sport Tune suspension. You basically get all the goodies that make this thing look more aggressive and sporty, even for being such a large vehicle.
All right, so there's a lot in the interior of this car to talk about. One of the big things is that it is a 7-passenger. So we have 2 front seats, 2 captain chairs, and then 3 in the back. We have 6 people in the family, so this fits us really well. Back seats are big enough that the kids still have a lot of room. They even had like one of their bags with them back there and some pillows and stuff like that. So room for the family is not an issue here. So packing this thing for the trip wasn't too hard either. The very back, you don't get as much room as something like a Suburban or an Expedition, but it's a decent amount of room, and it held our luggage just fine for this trip. So we also have the leather seats, leather steering wheel, leather trim. Everything's black. It looks really good in here. I can't complain about the looks. It's pretty comfortable to drive. You got a good seating position. Well, we can take a look around and talk about some of the features.
The third row seating does fold down, and you get a 60-40 split, and it does fold down into a flat floor. If you fold down all the seats, this thing can hold a massive 120.1 cubic feet of cargo. The Sequoia has plenty of storage bins within the vehicle that make this great for a family vehicle or traveling. You get lots of little places to store things, and that always becomes really handy. Infotainment-wise, you get a pretty small touchscreen display with Toyota's Entune system, and I'll touch a little bit more on this later. If you're not just hauling around the family and you're wanting to tow a boat or a trailer, the Sequoia can tow up to 7,400 pounds. Under the hood is a 381 horsepower, 5.7 liter V8 engine. And this engine also produces 401 foot-pounds of torque. And while this big vehicle does need this big V8 engine, it's definitely not the most efficient thing, especially when you're going up and down some pretty big hills in Texas Hill Country. Of course, this is Toyota, and you get a whole suite of safety features like blind spot monitoring, rear cross traffic alert, all LED lighting including daytime running lights and fog lights, a tire pressure monitoring system, a STAR safety system which includes vehicle stability control, traction control, anti-lock brake system, electronic brake force distribution, and braking assist. And of course, you can get Toyota Care. Alright guys, so after a full week with this vehicle and a family road trip, there are a few gripes that I definitely have. Some of them are minor and some of them are pretty big issues, but let's jump into those right now. So one of my first gripes with the Sequoia is the screen, and not even as much the infotainment system. You guys have watched my other Toyota reviews. You know the Entune system isn't my favorite. Intune 3 is out and is circulating through, so hopefully the Sequoia will get an update there. But what really bugs me is just the size of the screen is so small, and putting this thing in reverse, the backup camera is very small and just kind of hard to see. In a big vehicle like this, you really want a clear view of what you're backing into. And with all the technology out there with vehicles and the 360 cameras, this thing is a vehicle that needs a 360 camera. Gripe number 2 is with USB plugs. With this being a family vehicle, this thing has one USB plug. You do get some of the old cigarette lighter plugs, but you have to have an adapter for those. A lot of vehicles these days are, of course, having USB built in, especially in the back seats. And that is the best thing in the world for road trips with the family, because the kids can charge their iPads and things like that and stay entertained during the trip. This thing, like I said, there are no plugs in the back, so we had one adapter that we plugged in right here, and the kids kind of had to switch back and forth on who had the best opportunity to charge their device. But for this to be a really great family vehicle, especially a travel vehicle, I would need more USB plugs. The third and last big gripe with this vehicle is about fuel economy. Now, this is a big vehicle with a V8 up front, and it's 4-wheel drive, so you're not going to get the best fuel economy out there. I understand that. On average, we were averaging about 15 miles to the gallon. There were parts of going through the hill country where we were looking at 10 miles to the gallon. The very best we got was heading back on the highway, and we got 18 miles to the gallon. So 18 miles to the gallon isn't that bad for this size of vehicle, but with what it compares to the Expedition and the Suburban, both of those vehicles get around the same, if not better, fuel economy, and a lot of that comes down to technology. The Expedition has the EcoBoost V6 engine, and the Suburban has the V8 with the cylinder deactivation, so you're not always running those V8, all 8 cylinders of the engine. So why this is really a gripe is because Toyota hasn't done anything to really update this engine or update this vehicle to give it better fuel economy. So it's still pretty terrible fuel economy for the size of vehicle, when they could do something to make it a little bit better.
Alright guys, well, I hope you enjoyed that video. I hope you enjoyed a little bit of behind the scenes of our family vacations. I hope you enjoyed hearing about the Toyota Sequoia. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Leave me a comment down below if you got any questions. And as always, thanks for watching.